Good day, everybody. It's John Preto, Managing Director of NetLeaders. Happy to be with everybody today. It says here in my notes, welcome back to Dave Cavassier. No, Dave, no, Dave. Got an email from Dave last night, late last night, that he has got pneumonia. He had to go to one of those medical clinics and get checked out, and he's got severe pneumonia. So David is out for this week. Look forward to seeing David next week. Get better, my friend. And I'm looking forward to having you here on my right side. And then eventually you take over for me on this position so I can go play golf, right? No, that's not the way it works. I'll be a common guest on the show after Dave takes over, but we wanted to kick it up a notch and looking for another host with Dave. In addition to Dave, have a co-host with David. So in that regard, we look to continually improve the webcast. We're upgrading some equipment here in the studio that's going to make it easier for us to have guests on. So rather than have the 3 windows or 4 windows on GoToMeeting, we're going to have it look like it's CNN or CNBC or with the boxes here on the one screen. And so that's in progress as we speak. And we saw that equipment here at the National Association of Broadcasters show here in Las Vegas, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or so. Larry, how's that Larry cam working out?
Working great.
There they are. There's the guys behind the scene. There's Larry Skinner. He's the director of the program. And there's Anthony. He's a production assistant. He runs the GoToMeeting webinar, which you can see that runs on that laptop. And then in the corner, you can see the equipment that we use to produce this show. And this is like a TV studio in a box here. And this is, very expensive equipment and very difficult to run. There you go. There's a little glimpse of the behind the scenes. Fantastic. Thank you, Larry and Anthony. I appreciate all you guys do. They're here with me, early on Wednesday mornings, and these guys work very, very hard. So hats off to those guys. Hats off to those guys for producing this show every week to bring content to you guys. And we like to do this live. A lot of people say, why don't you just do something recorded and throw it up? I don't think that is sincere. You guys have the ability to ask questions somewhere in the interface. There's a chat box and you're able to ask us questions. If we have the time, we will answer those questions. Sometimes they're answered directly privately, and sometimes they're answered post-tense via email. So I think that this is more sincere. It's live. It's fun and exciting for us to produce this show and kind of wing it. Sometimes when equipment goes down or guests don't show up, like David not showing up. I was going to have a conversation about David and his career, very esteemed career here in Southern Nevada as an multiple Emmy award-winning host of one of the big networks here in Las Vegas. And we're just honored to have this guy. You're going to see David more and more in some training videos and some other stuff that we're going to use David for. So we're very honored to have David. Frequency. So the frequency now has increased to 17.7. So a very minor increase overnight from 17.5 to 17.7. That's a good thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on right now here in New York City. Consensus, which is the show that CoinDesk sponsors. If you're not on CoinDesk's mailing list, which goes out daily, I suggest you go to coindesk.com and get on their mailing list. It's probably the #1 news source today for the crypto industry. You put your email in every morning, they send you an email with the latest crypto news. Once a year or twice a year, they sponsor a big event. This one is in New York City. Terry O'Hearn is there in New York City. I talked to him yesterday. So he's there perusing the floor. Last year they had 4,000 attendees. This year they have 8,000 attendees at this show in New York. So this is the big leagues here. Anybody is here at this event. Some interesting things that I saw yesterday. I thought it was a novelty. There's a Anheuser-Busch beer vending machine, a prototype at this show. And this is designed by Civic, which is one of the interesting coins, altcoins that's on the market today. They did this to show that they have the ability to verify age using their app, as opposed to showing an ID or a passport. Using this token, you'll have the ability to verify age. And I thought, what a novel idea. All this vending machine, they don't have any hopes of producing this vending machine. They're just using this as a showcase for their technology. I thought, how interesting this, this is a promotional stunt for this company. I thought that was quite interesting for them to showcase their technology. And there's hundreds and hundreds of, interesting coins out there. I remember the time of the early internet that I, got an opportunity to take part in. And so there was all kinds of interesting websites being published. The brick and mortars tried to get in kind of late, right? So the World Wide Web kind of launched 1992 timeframe, 92, 93. And then it kind of was stagnant for several years. You didn't see a lot of movement until the mid 90s. And that's kind of when we got involved with our streaming media company. But then a plethora of announcements. Some came to fruition, some didn't. Some companies are hugely successful, like Amazon.com, and most were not. That's exactly the same phenomena that's happening now in the crypto space. You've got some interesting ideas for the use of a utility token that may or may not come to fruition, and most will not. And so we took a very holistic 360-degree view of the industry and the feature sets. And what I'm trying to say is, remember, we're not just a coin. Daskcoin is not just a coin. NetLeaders is the community. So being part of the NetLeaders community is going to become more and more important as we grow this community. The member benefits are going to continue to grow. So we're not just a coin. Just don't, grab your cycles and submit those for minting and call it a day and get your Daskcoin. That's not our strategy at all. Strategy has become a very significant community where you have the ability to utilize the membership benefits, and we're able to utilize this community to attract vendors and ICOs and vendors to this community. It's a much broader strategy than just the coin. So I don't even watch the coin price on a daily basis. That's not why I am part of this organization. And so long-term, very, very bullish. I'd be a buyer at these prices. This is my own personal opinion. I'm not an investment advisor or an attorney or somebody that's going to tell you what to do. But I think at these prices on these exchanges are very, very attractive. And so that's just my own personal opinion. I have not sold one Daskcoin to date, and I don't anticipate selling anytime soon. And so that's just my personal opinion. Be patient. This is a long-time strategy, and so we're executing brilliantly. I'm very bullish on where we're at today and moving forward. Some great things in the pipeline as far as moving forward. Talking to many more exchanges, and so there should be some news with some additional exchanges coming soon, and some great people being attracted to the ecosystem. And that's the difference between us and a lot of our competitors out there. A lot of people doing ICOs. As you go out and read these news and these news sites, you see a lot of them are advertising like crazy. ICO, ICO, ICO. ICO stands for initial coin offering, as opposed to, an IPO, which would be initial, what's the P stand for, Larry?
Initial.
IPO is basically a company selling their stock, and that's not what happens in an ICO. They're selling a utility token to participate in the birth of a new token. Well, guess what? We didn't have to do an ICO with the galaxy of companies, and so the founders were able to fund operations until we had income coming in to hit profitability. So we didn't have to raise any external funds. We have no debt as a company, and we're profitable. We're way light years ahead of most of these companies out there today trying to launch an idea. And that's why we're attracting these companies. We've been, operational now. Next month is our official 2-year birthday, but a year and a half prior to that is when we started working on this. So we're way early. We're situated beautifully for growth and attracting other entities into the ecosystem as we grow. That's the long-term vision for the NetLeader value proposition and Daskcoin as an ecosystem and not the price of the Daskcoin today. So I just wanted to give you guys an overview and my thoughts and opinions of where we're sitting and my enthusiasm and optimism of where we're at today. Just looking at my notes here, new compliance platform. And so we're in final negotiations with the gold standard compliance application, which is a third-party vendor. And this platform is absolutely amazing. I specifically want to discuss this because one person at the edges of the earth can put a website up and take the entire company down. And that's how important compliance is. This is the reason why we're so adamant about adhering to compliance support at NetLeaders. You see that down there? If you guys see anybody violating any of our compliance terms and conditions, etc., you should immediately report them to support at NetLeaders. Give us the URL, etc. This is absolutely critical, and we've seen it happen here in the United States where companies have had an advocate or other companies call the name for an advocate different, affiliates, etc., go out and claim that they're going to cure cancer or that they're going to get 100% daily returns on their money. Those things are absolutely illegal. And if the SEC or the FTC gets that information, they can prosecute the company and they can cease and desist operations. Very important. This new platform that we're working with, this vendor, and then Toe would be managing this platform, has an amazing listening platform that will go out and scour the internet for all of our keywords. So anything related to our ecosystem, it will go out on it's real time. They call it a listening platform, and will identify any of those infractions, and then it submits a case. It creates a case for those infractions, and then they're followed up by our team. Extremely important. I expect to have some announcements at the next meeting, but I want to let everybody know how important compliance is. We have other attorneys working on compliance as well to make sure that everybody adheres to policy and procedures. We have to be very adamant and make sure that people adhere to the policy and procedures moving forward. I can't stress that enough. And the last item I have here on my notes is the June event. So late June, June 30th is the date that I'm hearing from the staff. As Michael Mathias announced last week, June 30th is the target date. I'm sure that there's going to be events adjacent to that June 30th. I think June 30th is a Saturday, isn't that right, guys?
I think so.
Look up on the calendar real quick. I think June 30th is a Saturday. And if that's the case, generally we have an event the day prior and the day after. But Spain will be fun. I've never been to Spain, so I'm looking forward to going then. And the big announcements for that event, of course, are DasPay, which is another huge differentiator for us versus our competition. And since it's on that side of the globe, it's closer to most of you guys, since we're not operational in the United States yet, and most of you guys are on that side of the globe. It's easier for you guys to attend events over on that side of the world until we're officially open in the United States. So that's all I had on my agenda for this week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Some amazing things going on in the industry. So excited to be part of this industry. Everywhere I go and I tell people what I do, they immediately want, question. makes it easy for you guys to recruit, to bring additional family members and advocates into the NetLeaders team. So with that, I'll see you guys next week.